Today, we're diving into this really remarkable story about leadership, community, and what it actually takes to maintain peace. Honestly, it's a case study that might just make you rethink what law and order truly means.
You know, when you boil it all down, the entire story we're about to explore really hinges on this one massive question. How do you keep people safe without just clamping down and controlling everything? It's this classic balancing act, right? A challenge that pretty much every leader faces.
All right, so let's set the scene. We're in Punjab, Pakistan, and it's an especially sensitive time of year, the Christmas and New Year's holidays. It's a time for joyous celebration for sure, but tensions can also run pretty high. So you can imagine, security planning has to be incredibly careful.
And right in the middle of all this is our main character, if you will, Station House Officer Gulnaz. Talk about pressure. The responsibility to make sure the entire holiday season went off with a single incident? Yeah, that was all on her shoulders.
So what does she do? Well, she could have gone the typical route, you know? A big show of force, lots of rules, a heavy hand. But she didn't. She chose a completely different path. She decided to get out ahead of it, to be proactive and focus on building trust with the community before the celebrations even kicked off.
So how'd she pull this off? Well, her plan was actually super straightforward, but really powerful. First, she called a meeting. Simple enough. Then, she invited the people who mattered most, the priests from all the local churches. But here's the key part, step 3. She didn't just talk at them, she listened. The whole point was to hear their concerns and start building some real, mutual trust.
Okay, so the action plan was smart. But what really made it a game changer wasn't just the what, it was the why. It was the whole philosophy driving her actions. So let's really dig into that.
And this right here, this is the heart of it all. These are Officer Gulnaz's own words, and they change everything. Notice what she says. The goal wasn't restriction, it was protection. That is a huge shift in mindset, isn't it? It's not about telling people all the things they can't do. It's about asking, how can we together keep everyone safe?
This really breaks it down perfectly. You've got two ways to think about security. On one hand, there's restriction, imposing rules, which, let's be honest, often just pushes people away. But then you have her approach, protection. That's all about working together, building a partnership. It's not about taking away freedom, it's about creating an environment where everyone feels safe enough to be free.
And look, this wasn't just some nice idea she was floating. She backed it up with concrete promises. She proposed that security at church doors be handled by trusted members of the community itself. She made it clear there'd be zero tolerance for anyone breaking the law, but at the same time, she guaranteed the state's protection. The biggest takeaway? Everyone would be free to worship without fear, and, this is huge, the police wouldn't interfere with their services.
I love this quote because it just perfectly sums up the deal she was offering. It's not an order, is it? It's a partnership. She's basically saying, look, just work with us, and if you do, I promise, you will have the absolute, complete support of the police. It's a two-way street. That's what shared responsibility is all about.
All right, so the stage is set. The plan is in motion. All this work has gone into building trust and partnership. The big question is, did it actually work? What happened when those holiday nights finally arrived?
The result? Well, you can say it in one powerful word. Peace. Just peace. The plan didn't just work, it worked perfectly.
So what does that peace actually look and feel like on the ground? It means the community's celebrations went on safely. It means people could pray with devotion, not with one eye looking over their shoulder. It meant a season of joy was allowed to be just that, joyful.
And at the end of the day, this wasn't just a win for the police. This was a victory for the entire community. It was incredible proof of what's possible when you build public safety on a real foundation of cooperation, respect, and shared responsibility.
This whole story reveals a really profound lesson, one that goes way beyond this single event. It kind of forces you to step back and reconsider the very meaning of law and order.
And this is the ultimate lesson Officer Gulnaz understood. True law and order isn't about control that's forced on people from the outside. It's about harmony, something that's grown from within a community. It's what happens when people work together because they all want the same thing, peace and respect.
So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this final question to think about. The principles we've seen here, of choosing protection over restriction, of partnership over control, they aren't unique to this one situation. They're universal. So the question for you is, where in your own world, in your own community, could this shift toward shared responsibility make all the difference?